How do you feel about what the Ombudsman has found here?
I feel really grateful to the Ombudsman for such a thorough investigation. They spent over 3 years investigating my complaint against the CAA.
Michelle Molloy has been on a quest for answers regarding a complaint she made to the CAA in 2011.
And so I went to the Ombudsman to find the truth, to ask them to find the truth for me, and I think they did.
Molloy's complaint to the agency was about her flight instructor, who she says made unwanted mid-air sexual advances towards her when she was a student pilot.
I'm trying to focus on my lesson. I want to be a pilot, and he sees me as a sexual object and nothing else. He groomed me from the beginning. He saw me as an object that he wanted for himself.
Former Ombudsman Peter Boshier, who retired last month, was not tasked with determining if the sexual contact between Molloy and her instructor was consensual or not. However, he did find the CAA did not do enough to seek clarity on this issue, and that was unreasonable. The instructor has previously said any sexual activity was consensual. Molloy says this wasn't the case.
I didn't know it wasn't normal for the instructor to say, flying the aircraft is like sex. You've got to treat the aircraft like you treat a woman. It needs a gentle touch. And he just saw me as something for him to take instead of, and I should have been safe learning to fly, and I wasn't. I wasn't safe.
Boshier says the CAA initially decided to prosecute the instructor, but then backed away from taking it to court. However, the reason for this remains a mystery. Critical notes about why this decision was made were missing, which Boshier said was deeply concerning.
For them to lose the paperwork or not retain the paperwork or not have the paperwork or the documentation, where is it? They made this decision not to prosecute him. And now that they don't have a record of that decision, it does not make sense to me. I cannot understand it. I don't think the Ombudsman could understand it. No one can really explain why they don't have the paperwork.
Molloy then only found out the CAA had decided against prosecution when she called them for an update. 16 months then passed, and during those months, no additional action was taken on her complaint, even though an alternative to prosecution was stripping the instructor of his ability to be a flight trainer. Boshier says Molloy was left in the dark, and her complaint had fallen off the radar. Even when CAA decided to close the case after deciding not to censure the instructor, they wouldn't tell Molloy what had happened. Is that one of the core things that infuriates you about this process, is just the lack of information that you got back as the complainant?
Totally. I was kept almost entirely in the dark by the CAA. And then when they did give me information, it was really misinformation, which I felt that they were really economical with the truth with me.
As part of Boshier's recommendations, he urged the CAA to consider making an ex-gratia payment to Molloy, saying its botched response to her disclosures exacerbated the trauma she endured.
Look, it's not about the money. It's about using my voice to shine a light on what happened to me. I don't like talking about it. It's a horrible story, but I want other students and other people in the aviation system to feel safe when they fly, to know that if someone sexually harasses them in the cockpit, that they can complain to the regulator and the regulator will take action and will uphold the law. I can't afford a lawyer to represent myself, and I've represented myself for 14 years against this Crown agency who has unleashed the full firepower of their legal department on me to try and stonewall me in my complaint, to prevent the truth coming out. And it just seems an enormous waste of taxpayer money.
The CAA's made several changes since mishandling Molloy's complaint, including establishing a victims advisor role and adding more women to its investigation team. The agency also has a police liaison officer, and Boshier noted its record-keeping policies have been thoroughly updated. The CAA told the Herald it accepts the Ombudsman's recommendations and is implementing them. The spokesperson said we could have done better, and we've already put measures in place to avoid this happening again.